The film commences with Patricia, a married woman, going about her daily routine in the kitchen, seemingly unaware that her life is on the verge of a dramatic upheaval. Abruptly, her husband David enters the kitchen with a look of anxiety, urging her to flee. Patricia is bewildered, and before she can comprehend the situation, David turns violent, stabbing and beating her brutally, ultimately ending her life. Meanwhile, a child is shown confined in a cage-like room. A subsequent podcast reveals that the police find David at the crime scene, holding the murder weapon, staring blankly at his wife's lifeless body. Further investigation exposes a horrifying reality. David's daughter, Michal, has been living in a cage-like room without exposure to sunlight. Due to David's claims of being controlled by someone else, he earns the moniker the Puppetman killer and is sentenced to death by lethal injection. The narrative advances to the present, where Michal, now a college student, shares a room with her best friend, Charlie. They listen to a podcast about Michal's father gaining widespread attention as his execution date approaches. Michal struggles to erase the gruesome past of her cold-hearted killer father, while Charlie finds it intriguing. Charlie delves into the case, discovering satanic books found in Michal's father's possession during his arrest. As the semester nears its end, Michal, Charlie, and their friends plan a secret party on the dorm's rooftop. Charlie becomes fixated on the Puppetman killer, secretly exploring the possibility of Michal inheriting her father's tendencies. Michal grapples with recurring nightmares from her childhood, marked by sleepwalking and drawing cryptic lines on the wall with a hand wound. Days pass, and Michal observes an unsettling phenomenon. A flock of black ravens surrounds her wherever she goes, signifying an impending calamity. The group buys alcohol from a local store despite being underage, and later, Michal's boyfriend Danny accompanies her to her room, refusing to enter. When alone, Michal discovers that Charlie has been secretly recording her sleepwalking episodes as part of a documentary. Confronting Charlie, Michal learns that her sleepwalking is a recurring pattern, and Charlie insists she did it for Michal's safety. Despite the reassurance, Michal is disturbed by the invasion of her privacy. The group gathers for a rooftop party, where Glenn inadvertently discloses private details about Michal's father and her sleepwalking. Michal realizes Charlie has exposed her personal life, leading to a confrontation. Suddenly, Charlie becomes paralyzed and walks backward off the terrace, resulting in her death. In the aftermath, Michal talks to the investigating officer, expressing her belief that Charlie was afraid of her. Michal notices a group of ravens following her, adding to her growing unease. The days progress, and Danny becomes increasingly concerned about Michal's well-being. Danny checks on Michal at her dorm, finding her unresponsive. In the middle of the night, he wakes up to a thud and discovers Michal sleepwalking on the terrace's edge. He intervenes just in time to prevent her from harm. The group learns from Charlie's mother that Charlie used to meet with a psychic named Ruby, due to fear, specifically of Michal. Ruby invites them to her house for a crucial discussion, revealing that Charlie was frightened of Michal. Meanwhile, in the living room, Michal notices a book titled The Cult of Dolos, bearing the same symbol she draws with her blood during nightmares. The psychic Ruby summons her into the room to unravel the truth about Charlie's death through a seance. The objective is to connect with Michal's late mother, Patricia, believing she possesses crucial information. During the seance, Ruby is unexpectedly possessed by a spirit that compels her to write a chilling confession stating, "I killed Charlie." This revelation shocks Michal, who demands to know the spirit's identity, leaving Ruby visibly frightened. The spirit once again possesses Ruby, and to Michal's horror, Ruby writes, "I am Michal." Michal struggles to believe she could be the one responsible for her best friend's death. Among her friends, only Danny accepts Ruby's revelations, sensing something within Michal that led to Charlie's demise. Later, Joe makes a significant discovery on Charlie's laptop, finding a connection between the book, The Cult of Dolos, and Ruby. Michal begins sleepwalking again, displaying a more unusual pattern. Concerned friends realize something sinister is afoot. Joe, intrigued despite initial skepticism, secretly meets with Ruby and borrows the ominous book. Ruby warns Joe that Michal must remain unaware of her possession of the book. Unable to enlist Glenn and Danny's help, Joe delves into the investigation alone, exploring the book in a quiet library at night. As Joe reads, she uncovers a chilling ritual to summon a malevolent demon into the world. The ritual involves a union of light and dark, innocence and sin, with those opposing the demon destined to bend to its will. Disturbed, Joe contacts Ruby too late. The demon has seized control, compelling Joe to stab herself with a pen. A cigarette falls onto the book, sparking a fire, and Joe meets a horrifying demise as her face is pulled into the flames, burning her to death. Simultaneously at the gym, Dolos takes control of Glenn's body, forcing him to add heavy weights to his lifting bar. Unwillingly, Glenn sits under the bar and attempts to lift it, meeting a tragic end as his face is crushed under the heavy load. Unaware of these events, Danny takes Michal to visit her imprisoned father. The father-daughter reunion is tense, and they remain oblivious to the tragic fates of their friends. Without any delay, Michal confronts her father, demanding an explanation for her mother's death. He vehemently denies being responsible, asserting that he was under someone else's control, Michal herself. He discloses that years ago he and Patricia participated in the ritual outlined in the book to gain the demon Dolos's power. However, the demon chose Michal's body as a vessel instead of Patricia's. Michal, apparently possessed, ordered her father to kill Patricia during the ritual, elucidating Charlie's fear of Michal before her death. Stunned by this revelation, Michal is rendered speechless. The demon within Michal mirrors her emotions, ensuring that if she feels enraged, so does the demon. Later, as they return to the dorm, Danny tries to console Michal, but an unseen force prevents him from touching her. He receives a call informing him of the deaths of 2 friends. The shocking news leads Michal to resent herself, urging Danny to stay away for his safety, plunging her into depression. Contemplating suicide at one point, Michal experiences a strange occurrence. Speeding vehicles on the road inexplicably stop to let her pass. Attempting an alternate route, Michal climbs a bridge, contemplating jumping off. However, an unseen force, Dolos, intervenes, preventing her from taking such a drastic step. Danny, witnessing the malevolent spirit within her, contacts Ruby for help. Ruby, now scared after hearing Danny's story, denies her previous claims and returns their money, asserting that Michal is perfectly fine. Realizing they are on their own, Michal and Danny leave in search of other solutions. Ruby contacts Detective Al, informing him of the situation. While the couple is en route home, Danny reveals hidden notes from Ruby, warning of impending danger. Dolos seizes control of Danny, forcing him to break his own fingers. The demon compels Danny to read the notes, subsequently making him slam his head against the steering wheel. Helpless, Michal witnesses Danny's torment, realizing she is responsible for the demonic presence within her. Devastated by the loss of her best friend, a bloodied Michal goes to the police station, claiming responsibility for multiple deaths. A police officer hesitates, contemplating what to do, but Dolos takes control of his body, leading to his demise. Other officers meet a similar fate, leaving Michal anticipating her own death. Detective Al incapacitates her with a tranquilizer, taking her to Ruby's house. Ruby discovers that sedating the vessel brings peace to Dolos, preventing the demon from being aware of its surroundings. Ruby determines they need to find a new host, believing that a part of the real Michal, wanting to live her life, is still conscious. Leaving pen, paper, and words of encouragement beside Michal, Ruby hopes for a response. To their relief, Michal begins writing, revealing she has a plan. Her father, who desired to become the demon's vessel, should fulfill that destiny. They won't have to worry about him as he is slated for euthanasia. Ruby acknowledges the risk, but sees it as their only chance. On David's final day, Michal informs him that the demon is currently dormant, requesting that he take Dolos with him. Despite the brutality he'll endure, David agrees for his daughter's freedom. With Ruby's assistance, they commence the ritual, and the scene shifts to the execution process. David, now hosting Dolos, struggles against the injection administered by the doctor, but succumbs to the lethal dose. In the aftermath, Ruby and Michal celebrate the apparent expulsion of the demon. However, as the movie concludes, uncertainty lingers about Dolos's survival, hinted at by Michal's ominous grin. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and give us a thumbs up to help out the channel. Thank you for watching.